I'm glad you could make it tonight. I have what I think is going to be a fun meditation for everybody tonight on havingness. And what we're going to do is take a look at two different havingness gauges and clean them out. One will be for health and wellness, and the other one will be for money and wealth. And I'm also going to give you a little bit of time in this meditation to imagine what it would be like if money was of no object to you. So I think that's going to be fun, and I'll give you some time to think about that in the meditation. So I'm going to go ahead and get started by setting the energy with a prayer. As we cleanse and heal the temple of the soul, may it be with the blessing of divinity, that it shine its countenance upon us and bring us peace in body, mind, and spirit. Amen. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started with our Female Fridays meditation. Go ahead and close your eyes and get comfortable in your chair. Put your feet on the floor, hips distance apart, flat. And bring all of your awareness right behind your eyes in the center of your head. And if you're wearing a grounding cord, which I know you are, go ahead and drop it into the center of the planet, and we're going to create a brand new one. So put your attention at the base of your spine and start to draw a brand new line of energy from the base of your spine, where your first chakra is, straight down through the floor, all the way to the center of the planet, and anchor it in. And I like to imagine my grounding cord as a tube, so I can imagine things going down it when I'm ready to release. But you don't have to use a tube. You could use a chain link. You could use a tree trunk. You could imagine a waterfall around that line of energy. Anything to make it slick and smooth so that when you're ready to release energy, it will just slide right down. Well, once that grounding cord is attached at the center of the planet, gravity is going to be working with you so that whatever you're ready to release in your body or your aura will just slide right down that grounding cord. So I'm going to call out a couple of energies for you to release. The first one is, if you're holding on to any resentments tonight, let's go ahead and release those. Are you resisting anything tonight? If you are, say hello to that resistance and let that go down the grounding cord. Are you holding on to any judgment? That could be of yourself or of others. And if you are, go ahead and let that energy go. And you can go ahead and release the energies of the day, including any stress that you might have. Good. Now we're going to put our female grounding on, And our female grounding is a tube underneath the uterus that drops into your main grounding. Go ahead and do that. And then you're going to ground each of your ovaries into your uterine grounding. You can do that by just drawing a line of energy from each ovary into that uterine grounding. And then at the top of your sciatic nerves on your backside, you're going to do the same thing as draw a line of energy from each sciatic nerve into that uterine grounding. And all of that gets set on full release. And the first thing we're going to do is release male energy. So say hello to any male energy and send that down your female grounding. And take a look around your space and see if there's any control energy affecting your female energy, and send that down the grounding cord. And you can ground out any responsibility energy, send that down your female grounding. And we're going to ground our female creative energy, which is right out in front of your abdomen. And if you want to imagine a great big tube out in front of your abdomen, you can start to ground that energy down to about the size of a basketball. And that grounding cord goes all the way from right in front of your abdomen to the center of the planet. And go ahead and anchor it in. And this is a good grounding cord to use for the energy of problems. To ground out any problems that people might have put in your space today. Or any energy of demands. Let those demands just release. Good. Now, while you're releasing with all of your grounding cords, I'm going to walk you through a scenario for you to think about. And I want you to imagine that money is of no object to you for the purpose of this meditation. And we're going to take a look at some things before we set our havingness gauges. So to begin with, where would you like to be right now if money is of no consequence to you? Maybe on a Caribbean beach, or sitting at a Paris cafe, or sunbathing on a yacht. What time of day is it there? And what are your plans? Will you be active or resting and relaxing? Who is with you sharing this moment? Or are you surrounded with many friends? Do these people support your happiness and success? Who does support your happiness and success? What makes this a luxurious event for you if money is of no object? What kind of accommodations are you staying in? A suite? An entire hotel floor? A villa? A castle? What do you want to do with your time? What are you wearing, and how do you feel about yourself and your body? Is your body in health and vitality? Can it experience joy? Can it experience comfort? Are there more places you would like to go to? Where are they? How will you get there? Perhaps in your private jet or your yacht? And what do you want to do there? Think of the possibilities if money is no object. Now you're going to create a gauge out in front of you. Let this gauge register from 0 to 100%. It can be like a thermometer. Let this gauge represent your havingness for health and wellness. Put a grounding cord on the gauge and ground it to the center of the planet. To begin with, what percentage of havingness do you have in present time for your health and wellness? Do not gauge what you see or what you get as an answer. Let that be your starting point. Using the grounding cord, release foreign energy and start to release dark and heavy colors that show up in your gauge. Let go of any energies that look like they don't belong in your health and wellness space. Look for other people's judgment of what your body should look like, feel like, and what state of health it should be in, and release that judgment. Ground out doctors and medical energy. As you release the foreign energy from the gauge, see if the percentage of your havingness starts to rise. Continue grounding energies that would adversely affect your wellness out of the gauge. Now you're going to take your thumb and your forefinger and adjust the gauge up. See how far up you can get the gauge to register. Now create a big gold sun above the gauge and start putting pictures of your happiness, excellent health, and wellness into the sun. Be sure to show the expression on your face of what you look like in happiness, excellent health, and total wellness. Now bring the big gold sun into the gauge and fill the gauge up with the gold. And you're going to create another gold sun and bring that sun into your own space. Just bring it right in through the top of your head and fill your whole space up. Now we're done with the gauge, so we want to disperse all that energy so you can put a bomb underneath the gauge, light the fuse, and blow it up. Next, you're going to create a new gauge and let this gauge represent your havingness for money and wealth. Put a grounding cord on the gauge and ground it to the center of the planet. Now to start with, again, look at what percentage of havingness do you have in present time for money and wealth. Don't judge what you see or what you get as an answer. Just let it be your starting point. Using the grounding cord on the gauge to release the foreign energy, start to release the dark and heavy colors that show up in your gauge. Let go of any energies that look like they don't belong in your money and wealth gauge. Look for things like other people's competition or their judgment about what you do with your money, and release that down the grounding cord. Clear your parents' energy and pictures out of your money havingness gauge. While you're releasing the foreign energy from the gauge, see if the percentage of your havingness starts to come up. And continue grounding energies that would adversely affect your money and wealth out of the gauge. Look for any healing agreements with friends or family to not get ahead of them financially. Send those healing agreements down the grounding cord. Now you're going to take your thumb and your forefinger and adjust the gauge up and see how far up you can get the gauge to register. Now create a big gold sun above the gauge and start putting pictures of the kind of money and wealth you would like to have into the sun. Be sure to show the expression on your face of what you look like when you are wealthy and how you feel knowing you have all the money you want or need. Bring that gold sun into the gauge and fill up the gauge with the gold. And then create a gold sun above your head with lots of money in it. And bring that gold sun right in through the top of your head and fill up your whole space with it. Now we're done with the gauge, so you can put another bomb underneath it, light the fuse, and blow it up. And if you want, you can bring another gold sun with more money in through the top of your head and fill yourself completely up. And when you're ready, come on out of trance. Good job. Isn't that fun to imagine what it would be like if money was of no object? I thought you would like that. It's healthy to do, and it's also inspiring. All right. Well, I have one announcement, and that is that our next event in the sanctuary is a harmony healing, and that's going to be next Wednesday night on the 12th. And I think that's the only announcement I have at this time. So let me just take a look at everybody in the sanctuary, see how you're doing. You know what's great is doing that meditation, everybody's crown came up to gold. So you're all in a really good space right now. Good job. Oh, that makes me very happy. Well, enjoy the energy of havingness for the rest of the evening, and maybe even take a few moments to set the energy for your week ahead with the same vibration. Thank you very much for joining me tonight in this meditation, and I will see you next Wednesday night for harmony. All right. Got my eyes on you. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.